So I know many of us are probably in the same boat trying to find like the perfect Christmas gift for different people on our list. So today I thought I would share with you some of the things that I have owned and used and loved that would make wonderful Christmas gifts for different people on your Christmas list. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. My name is Abby, and I'm a homeschooling mom of two high schoolers. And here on my channel, I just like to share all things homeschooling, mom life, and home and garden. So maybe I'm alone in this, but I tend to find it harder to shop for adults than I do for kids and teenagers. Maybe it's just because I know a lot of my friends and family, when they end up needing something, they go and they'll just get it, something that they have to have. And so I start to think about what is it that would be just a nice perk for them, like something that would be kind of the next step up or that they wouldn't necessarily get for themselves. And I also like to think about how is the quality of that product? Is it going to last for them? Is it going to really provide an added benefit, or is it just going to end up, in the Goodwill pile in a year? The other thing I tend to do is kind of put people into categories, not in a bad way, but just kind of thinking about what are their likes, dislikes, hobbies. What is it that they're really into? And that helps me start to kind of focus my ideas on gifts. Are they a baker? Do they enjoy barbecuing? Are they a big reader, gardener, crafter? And then I can start to look for gifts kind of within those categories that I think would work well for them. So today I wanted to share favorite things of mine from different categories, and everything I'm going to recommend to you, I've either owned and used or it's been gifted to me and I have loved it, because I don't believe in recommending a product that I haven't personally used and found that it worked well for me. So everything today, I will go ahead and I will make sure I will link down below in the description box for you. Additionally, I'm going to kind of group this gift guide video into categories. So we're going to cover coffee lovers, bakers, crafters, and then just some comfort items. So if you're looking for items in a specific category, I will timestamp those down below for you as well, and you can jump to that portion of the video and check out those items. So let's go ahead and get started. So since everyone who knows me knows that coffee is a huge passion of mine, I'm going to start with the coffee lovers category. Now, I love all different kinds of coffee drinks. I like regular coffee. Occasionally, I want to just do like a quick K-cup so I can get my coffee and go. But I love, love, love espresso drinks. And I really wanted to have a way to make those myself at home, not only to save some money, but also to be able to customize the drink to my preferences without paying $6 or $7 a drink. And that's where this coffee maker comes in. This is the Mr. Coffee all-in-one occasions coffee and espresso machine. Now, this is not on the super high end of the spectrum. This is a very affordable all-in-one coffee and espresso machine. But what I love about it is that I can make a full pot of coffee when I have company over and we need a lot. I can put K-cups in there if I just need to make a single cup of coffee, and it makes 1 and 2 shots of espresso. It comes with the different fit cups for the espresso that store right on top, so I can easily adjust that. It's super quick and easy to switch back and forth between the different types of drinks that I want to make. And it does have a steamer on the side if I'd like to steam milk. And because it's an all-in-one, it takes up very little space on my coffee bar, which is nice because I like to put a lot of other things on my coffee bar, mostly decorations. But I like to have that space available on the coffee bar, not taken up by 2 or 3 different types of coffee machines. Now, I got this for Christmas last year. It was one that I specifically asked my husband for. And I will say, like, when I first set it up, it did take a couple of rounds to get kind of the water pressure built up in it. But once we did that, and that only took a few minutes, it has worked perfectly for the last year. And we use this thing every single day, usually more than once a day, because we just love making espresso drinks at our home. And the espresso comes out it's just perfect. And I've saved so much money by being able to make my own drinks here at home versus buying them all. So right next to my all-in-one coffee maker, I keep my instant milk frother. And this is another gadget that I have just used to death over the last year. There are 4 settings on this electric milk frother / steamer. So you can simply heat up your milk. You can do light foam, you can do heavy foam, or you can do cold foam. So it's perfect if you want to do different types of espresso-based drinks, both in the summer and in the winter. It's easy to clean. I just rinse it out, put it on the drying rack or dry it out with a towel, and then it's ready to go for the next round. It works quickly and efficiently, and we have just loved using it with all different kinds of beverages. Another great idea for coffee lovers would be a good coffee grinder. I have the KitchenAid blade grinder, which is a plug-in grinder, and it's very easy to use, very easy to clean after we've ground our different coffee. Typically, what we'll do is we'll grind whole bean coffee and keep a small Tupperware worth of it just underneath the coffee bar, enough for a couple of days at a time, and then we'll keep a separate one of our ground espresso, because there's just nothing like having freshly ground coffee to make your coffee and espresso drinks with. Now, if you're looking to put together some sort of like a gift basket or gift bag of items for a coffee lover, I'd highly recommend finding a good quality whole bean coffee that you could provide for them. Another thing that you could include in that would be some great syrups for coffee drinks. Now, I am a big fan of skinny syrups, which I get off of Amazon. And I found these when Starbucks started to decrease the number of sugar-free syrups that they offer, because I just don't like super, sugary beverages. I like to try to limit my sugar intake in my coffee. And they used to have both cinnamon dolce and vanilla available and sugar-free, and then it was just vanilla, and that just gets boring, really boring. But skinny syrups come in a lot of different flavors. Currently on my coffee bar, I have vanilla, hazelnut, chocolate, mocha, peppermint mocha, pumpkin spice, and pumpkin caramel, and all of them are sugar-free options. So if you have somebody who's either has dietary restrictions where they need to watch their sugar intake, or maybe they just prefer low sugar items, it is a great option. Now, you could certainly do regular syrups as well. And I do keep a variety of regular coffee syrups on hand. So that way, if I have guests who would prefer that, we can make them a coffee beverage with those flavors as well. Moving on to crafting gifts. So I have a lot of different craft related hobbies. I sew and I quilt. I love to scrapbook. I Bible journal. I like to sketch. I bullet journal. And so I have so many different art supplies in every room of this house. It's a little insane. But there are a few things that stand out as favorites for me. Something that I really like to use when I'm Bible journaling, or even if I just want to be sketching out some drawings, are Derwent Inktense pencils. So these draw on like a regular colored pencil, and that's what they'll look like when they come in the package. You can draw and you can do your shading, but then you can go back over them with a wet brush, and it will essentially turn that color pencil into watercolor. And it just creates the most beautiful effects on the paper. Now, you could, of course, use these water brush pens along with that. So it would make a great combo gift, maybe with some nice watercolor paper for an artist or a crafter in your life. So these watercoloring brush pens, essentially the pen part is hollow and you fill it up with water. There are different size brush tips on there. And so you can do fine tips or wide tips, and you just squeeze the brush a little bit. It dampens the end of the brush, and then you can brush that over those Derwent Inktense pencils, and then it will turn that right into a beautiful watercolor picture. Now, if you prefer to start with regular watercolors, the Mozart Premium Japanese watercolor set is amazing. The collection I have has a huge variety of colors, ranging from metallics to more rich saturated colors to pastels. And I have been using this same set for almost 2 years now. I haven't run out of a single color. It's gone a long way, and it's just created beautiful, lasting watercolor paintings. Now, another tool in my house that I use every single week is my Cricut Maker, but I'm not actually here to recommend the Cricut Maker today. I want to talk about the Cricut Easy Press. So I have both the 9x9 Easy Press and I have the Cricut Mini. So the Cricut Easy Press, initially I got it because I was doing a lot of the iron-on vinyl transfers and making shirts and bags and things like that. And it's so nice because you can program it for the type of iron-on material you're doing and what it is you're ironing it onto. It tells you the temperature and the time to set it at, and you just press the little button and hold it down and go. It heats up quickly, it heats everything evenly, and I've not had an issue with any of my Cricut iron-on items not staying in place. I've also found that it's been really helpful with my quilting and sewing. I can lay out a quilting block, especially ones that are, 9x9, 10x10, or even up to 12x12s, and run that press over it, and it gives it just a nice, even iron, makes all of my seams lay nice and flat. So I've used it a lot in quilting this past year. Now, the mini press is exactly what it sounds like. It is a teeny tiny little mini press. heats up really fast, and it's great for those spot ironing moments that you need. So maybe you just need to get a seam of something. Maybe you have just like a small logo you want to iron onto something, but you don't want to heat up the big press. Iron on badges, it works great for. So I have utilized that thing to death and it's still going strong. My surprise love in the crafting world this year was my cinch binding machine by We Are Memory Keepers. And I stumbled across this completely by accident as I was preparing for the school year this year. A lot of our curriculum came with these printable workbooks and printable schedules, and they were like big, chunky workbooks by the time I got it all printed out. And I thought, well, it'd be nice if I could spiral bind it so it's easier to, flip through than a 3-ring binder. But I started to price it out at like our local office supply stores, and it was like ridiculous. The amount I was going to pay to spiral bind just a couple of these things. So I started looking for options at home, and I came across the cinch binding machine. So this little machine is super easy to use, and you can use it for all different kinds of projects. So initially I did it to create my own spiral bound notebooks, but I have since used it to create different types of crafting projects, my own little flip calendars and memory books and little scrapbooking books. It's nice because you can simply pull these little tabs across the front depending on how big your finished project is going to be, and it will adjust where the holes are punched to make it fit your document, so you don't get like a little partial hole at the corner of your project. After you snap your holes, there are these ring sets that you simply slide on the side, put your papers on there, and then press it on down, and it is bound. And all you have to do to make sure that the binding, like the connection point, is hidden is when you put it together, put the front and back cover at the very top as you're laying things on the coils there, and it works perfectly. I'm probably not explaining that really well, but I will be showing you some clips here of some of the things that I have made with my cinch binding machine. I have utilized this thing so many times since picking it up this summer. And it's just one of those things I never thought about buying until I needed it. And now that I have it, I use it for all kinds of projects. Now let's go to the baking category. And baking is a huge passion of mine. In fact, I run a from home baking business. So very rarely does a day go by when I'm not baking some sort of cake or cookie or cupcakes or other dessert items in my home. And having good quality materials to work with has helped me immensely over the years. And I have found that I would much prefer to invest in a higher quality product that is going to work well and last a long time versus just running to, Walmart and getting something that might only last me for a few months or a year. So one of my most used items that would make a great gift for a baker in your life are my cookie sheets. And not all cooking sheets are created equal. The one that I have loved the most is the Williams-Sonoma Gold Touch nonstick cookie sheet. This is great because it's dishwasher safe. It doesn't warp. It heats really evenly. So all of the cookies, no matter where they are in the pan or where they're facing the oven, come out baked the same. And it's pretty. It's just got this beautiful, like kind of gold tone to it. So not only does it bake really well, but it's beautiful to look at. So that's just a perk. Coming kind of along with that, they actually have a Gold Touch cooling rack that I also really like. One of my biggest pet peeves when baking is when you take something out of the oven, you have like a perfect cake, and you flip it out on the cooling rack, and then it sticks to the cooking rack or the cooling rack, and like you go to pull it up and like bits of the cake are sticking on there or falling through it. And so I almost exclusively want to use cooling racks that have some sort of a nonstick coating on them. And like I said, Williams-Sonoma makes a Gold Touch cooling rack that kind of coordinates with those cooking sheets as well. So if you'd like something that kind of looks a little matchy-matchy, you could definitely go that route. It definitely is a bit on the pricier end. So if you are looking for something that also works well but is a little bit more affordable, Sur La Table also has a nonstick cooling rack, and I'll link that along with the Williams-Sonoma one below. And it works just as well. I mean, I've used both pretty much interchangeably, and both work just fine. It's just the one it's a little prettier. So if you know someone who's just getting into baking, or maybe they've been baking for a while and you know that they're kind of trying to like up their game or learn new skills, an aluminum turntable would be a wonderful thing to get for them. A lot of people who are baking start off with like those little plastic turntables, like the Wilton ones. and those work fine for a while. The problem is that they are flimsy. They tend to kind of wobble when you're using them, and they just don't hold up really well over time. Well, Ateca makes an aluminum cake turntable. This one here in particular is 12 inches wide. It has a really sturdy base, and it moves so smooth. And it doesn't matter how big and heavy the cakes are that I put on it, that thing does not tilt or wobble or anything. It washes off really easily, and it's just held up to all the use and abuse that I have put it through. So if you're looking to put together some sort of a gift basket or gift bag of cooking or baking items, you can't go wrong with including some sort of high quality spices. There are two websites in particular that I have shopped at before, and I've been really impressed with the quality of the products that I've gotten from their site. The first one is Burlap and Barrel, and they do have quite a few gift sets. If you're not sure, what to get someone, they have different categories of gift sets. The fundamentals one is a great one to start with because it has just a lot of those basic spices. And I'll show a picture up here of some of the things that they include. They have, for example, a purple striped garlic, silk chili, royal cinnamon, laurel bay leaf, black peppers, and these are just higher quality versions of different spices. The ones you get at the grocery store, you have no idea how long those things have been sitting on the shelf or sitting in those little jars, and really you don't know where they've been sourced from. But here they'll tell you exactly where they got these different spices from, and you know that they are going to be much fresher and just have a much better taste than anything you'd get at your local grocery store. So you can definitely check out Burlap and Barrel and see all the different types of gift sets that they have. Another website that I really like is the Spice House. And again, they have some wonderful collection sets and gift sets that are available, and you can still get them in time for Christmas. The Baker's Collection is one of my personal favorites. It has nutmeg, ginger, cardamom, and cassia cinnamon, which is just wonderful cinnamon to use in anything. They also have quite a few different options if you have someone who enjoys barbecuing. So if you're looking for a gift for, a husband or a grandpa or an uncle, or, maybe you enjoy doing barbecuing, you could definitely try out all of these different spices and rubs. Now, I'm definitely not one to give a whole bunch of fashion advice. I'm really not, I'm not a fashionista at all, but I do love things that are comfortable, whether that's something I'm relaxing in at home or something I'm doing work outdoors in. And so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to find that mix of things that, make you feel good and make you feel pretty, because, you want to feel pretty, especially when you're pushing 40. but you want things to be comfortable in how they're being used. So a couple of things that I've really liked, I've got these flannel pajamas from Lands' End, and Lands' End, I'll tell you what, like, I've never been disappointed with anything I've gotten from there. I own sweaters and pants and slippers and just all sorts of different things, and the clothing quality is just spot on, and everything has just been so comfortable. But I want to focus on these flannel pajamas because they are warm, they are cozy, they come in lots of different colors and patterns. And here in Indiana, it gets just bitter cold once we hit December. And then it's cold until pretty much March. And so these are like my go-to pajamas for every single evening. I also think you can't go wrong with a good pair of denim. Now, my current favorite jeans are these Levi's Signature women's curvy straight leg jeans. So these have a decent amount of stretch in them, but it's not so much stretch that they feel cheap, if that makes sense. I think you can get like those super stretchy jeans where they just feel kind of flimsy and like they're not going to last. But I purchased these actually back in July, and the moment I put them on, I was like, oh, I love these. They're high-waisted, they're straight leg, but they have just enough opening at the bottom that you can do like some ankle boots with them. I can get up, I can move around. I use them when I'm working outdoors. I will dress them up with a nice top and some boots, and they are just super, super comfortable. I will say, in my opinion, these are pretty much true to size. I got the usual size that I get, and they weren't too tight, they weren't too loose, they just fit perfectly. And so I cannot recommend these Levi's Signature jeans enough. I also enjoy finding t-shirts and sweatshirts that are, soft and comfortable and long lasting, but also have, some kind of a cute design element to them. And there's a lot of, t-shirts and sweatshirts at the local stores that have, funny sayings on them or cute designs. But I do feel like a lot of them are geared towards, the teenagers. And it feels a little weird to buy the same t-shirts that, my 15-year-old is doing. So I like to find ones that, kind of are a little more age appropriate, but still fun, and also something that is a little higher quality. The most annoying thing to me is when you go and you buy those shirts from the local stores and you wash it once or twice, and then the design gets that it gets all cracked and peeling, and then it starts to flake off, and nobody wants that. So I actually had a friend, or have a friend who owns a family-run business, and they do a whole bunch of different types of custom products. Now, they used to be known as Hobegger Crafts, and they recently changed their business name to Girls Love Scouting because they do focus a large portion of their business on scouting-related products. So if you have somebody who volunteers in scouting programs, they have tumblers and sweatshirts and t-shirts and just all sorts of things that would make great gifts for somebody who does that kind of volunteer work. Or if you have, a niece or a daughter or a granddaughter who is involved in that, you can get different kinds of clothing items for them. But they do have sections of their websites that are related to mental health awareness. They have some beautiful shirts in that line. In fact, I own several of them. I'll show the pictures here of the ones that I have that they still have available. They also have another section that is camping related, and she is just so clever, so clever with the different types of things she comes up with for her camp shirts. Now, I'm a huge camper. I love to go hiking, I love to go camping, and so I have a whole bunch of these, and I wear them, you know, kayaking and hiking and gardening. So they have gotten dirty, they have gotten roughed up, they have been washed over and over and over again, and not one single design has started to fade or crack or peel off. They have just held up amazingly. And the shirts, they are just so comfortable. I mean, these are my go-to t-shirts in the summertime, and the sweatshirts are my go-to sweatshirts as soon as it starts to get chilly outside. Just amazing quality material. There's even a section on there that's related to home items. So you can get custom table runners with your family's name or with a monogram. They have ornaments, they have gnomes, there's tumblers, there's screen prints. There's just so many different amazing ideas on their website that would make fantastic gifts for the people on your gift list. All right, guys, that wraps up this gift idea video. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below to my channel so you can be notified when I post new homeschooling and mom life content. As I mentioned earlier, I will go ahead and I will put timestamps down below for the different gift categories, as well as links to where you can find everything that I mentioned in today's video. Thanks so much for joining me today, everybody. Hope you're having a Merry Christmas.